Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne and I'm a Chinese metaphysics master in Hong Kong. Today we're going to have a look at negative self-talk and how we can get out of it with Qimen Dunjia. We all have the tendency to tell ourselves negative things. You know, there's always this little voice in our head that tells us that we can't do certain things or it's not the right time or whatever it is. And obviously that's not helping. And we need to stop this negative self-talk somehow. But first, we need to know what causes it. And for this, we can use Qimen Dunjia, which is very, very helpful. Now, first thing, of course, you need to plot your Qimen Destiny chart. So you can go to the link that's here on the screen. I will also put it in the notes to the video. Plot your Qimen Destiny chart. Now, for a Qimen Destiny chart, it is very, very important that you know the time of birth. If you don't know the time of birth, you will still get a chart, but it's not the correct chart. So just know that. So plot your Qimen Destiny chart, and then you will get something like this. And in this particular chart, what we are looking for is the box or the palace that has the death door, because the death door is the one that represents a negative self-talk. Now, in this particular chart here, you will see the death door in the West Palace. Now, the doors are always in the lower center of the box. So have a look at where your death door is. Now, don't get too afraid. Yeah, it's not, nobody's going to die here. The death door is just often tells us where our obstructions are. And so actually it's a very, very useful component in the Qimen Dunjia chart. So check the box where you have the death door, because this palace or this box contains the clues as to what causes our negative self-talk, and more importantly, what we need to do in order to get to cut that negative self-talk out. So once you have identified this box, you need to check which star do you have in this box as well, together with the death door. And the star is always the component in the center of the top row. So it's always directly above the door. So check what star do you have here. So in this particular case, it's the assistant star. So the assistant star in this case would be telling us what kind of self-talk or what kind of negative things are you telling yourself and what you need to do to stop it. All right. So that's all you need to look at. First, identify the palace that has the death door, and then in the same palace, what star do you have together with the death door? All right. Now, let's have a look at what it is that you are telling yourself and how to stop it. So if you have the heart, the heavenly heart star together with the death door, then you keep telling yourself that that you don't know enough. Yeah, that you're not stable enough in a particular, or that you're not knowledgeable enough in a particular subject matter. And the key to this is to specialize in one particular area. Without specialization, you will always feel that you're not worth anything or that you're worth nothing. So it has a lot to do with self-worth. For those who have the heavenly heart together with the death door, they really need to specialize, find a focus on just one thing and become really, really good at it. And with that, you can tell yourself then that, no, this is an area that I'm actually an expert in, and I'm better than anybody else. So that creates a lot of positive reinforcement. Otherwise, if you're just sort of like know a little bit about everything, but you're not a specialist or you're not an expert in one particular area, you will always feel, you will always have some sort of inferiority complex. So specialization is key, and it doesn't matter what you're an expert in. Yeah, you could be an expert in tap dancing. I don't know. You could be an expert in, I don't know, Indian cooking. Anything is possible as long as you specialize in one thing and become an expert in that. And that will raise your self-worth, and that will slowly, slowly stop that negative voice in your head. Now, for those who have the heavenly grain, basically what happens here is that, again, you are feeling worthless because you you let other people treat you like crap. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. And because that happens, because you're sort of like a doormat for particular people, um, that inner voice in your head that tells you that you're not good enough, that you're just like, you're not able to take charge, you're not able to be better than anyone else, is getting worse and worse and worse, and is getting louder. So your biggest obstacles is that you always put others ahead of yourself or above yourself. So you need to do much more self-care and tell yourself, no, I'm actually important. I'm going to nurture myself now. I'm putting myself first. Be more selfish, essentially. And being more selfish doesn't mean that you have to completely ignore other people or that you have to be mean to other people, but you need to put yourself first. Yeah, if you don't put yourself first, ultimately you won't have the energy to take care of other people. And then again, you just become a doormat and you will feel like shit because everybody else treats you like shit. All right. And that is then that negative self-talk that you're like, okay, well, I'm probably not worth getting anything better out of that relationship or out of that career or out of that job or whatever it is, right? So you need to stop that, put yourself first, and make sure that you nurture yourself first before anyone else. Now, if you have the pillar in the box with the death door, then you usually get very upset if people don't validate or value what you do. And so you constantly need that reinforcement, that other people tell you, oh, how good you are, and how well you did in a particular subject matter. You constantly need that validation. And if you're not getting that validation, you feel like you're not really worth it. Yeah, or you feel like you're not good enough. So all of these issues around negative self-talk, ultimately, they boil down to not being good enough, but for various different reasons. So in the case of the pillar, if you have the pillar there, and let's say you want to climb the career ladder, so you're doing all these extra tasks, you pile on more responsibilities for yourself to make sure that people know what you're doing and that they value you. And if people don't value you and don't give you validation and don't tell you how good you are, you lose interest and you just stop. You stop what you're doing. And that obviously then stops your career prospects as well, if it happens within the career. Yeah. So there's a huge need for acceptance and validation, and that's your biggest obstacle. Also in romantic relationships, of course. So you need to understand that even if that validation doesn't come from other people, you need to value yourself. Yeah, whatever it is that you're doing is good for something. So you need to learn that you're not dependent on what other people say about you or what other people think about you. Yeah, are you okay with what it is that you're doing? And I know that's very difficult, but this is what you need to work on. Not be so dependent on just constantly being accepted by other people. You need to accept yourself first, and then the rest will come. Now, the next one is the grass star. So if you have the heavenly grass there, um, the cause for, or the root cause for negative self-talk is essentially that you have a lot of toxic people around you. And usually they're like whiners and complainers, and you become one of them as well. Yeah, you basically become the kind of person, or you're the average of the people you hang out with. And so if you surround yourself with complainers and whiners, you become one yourself. And then nothing is good anymore, right? Whatever happens in your life, there's always something that you're going to be unhappy with. So you need to filter the people around you, and try to increase the quality of the people that you're hanging out with. If you notice that you're just surrounded by people who are always victims, always complaining and always blaming other people, then that's not the right environment for you. Well, it's not the right environment for anybody, but especially for those who have the grass star together with the death door. And so the moment you surround yourself with more positive people, you will see, or you will realize that that inner voice, that self-talk, that negative self-talk is actually getting quieter and quieter, and it will disappear because there's nothing more to complain about. Now the next one would be the heavenly hero. So if you have the hero star there, you tend to be a little bit insecure about what you say and how you say it. And because you're so insecure about that, you very often just say the wrong thing at the wrong time, and that damages your reputation and your personal well-being. Yeah. If you're just constantly embarrassed about what you're saying and how you conveyed a particular message, and that increases your insecurity. So you need to be more careful with the messages that you're sending. They can be verbal messages, but obviously also non-verbal messages. So be a little bit more careful. Don't just blurt out everything, because otherwise you will damage your reputation. You will damage relationships, whether that be on a professional level or on a personal level. And then again, you're going to start telling yourself that, oh, I'm just going to say the wrong thing again. I'm going to damage myself somehow. I'm going to self-sabotage. It doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. Just think 1 second longer before you say something, or maybe just then decide not to say anything. That's also an option. We always have the option to not say something. Then you'll be okay. Now, those with the heavenly assistant, like in this particular case here, your biggest obstacle is that you're always telling yourself that, let's just wait a little bit more. It's not the right time. Yeah, your inner voice always tells you that it's not the right time to act. And so you hesitate before you take important decisions. And only once all the opportunities are gone do you actually take a decision, at which point it's too late. Yeah. So with the heavenly assistant, it's obviously, I'm not going to tell you to take decisions without thinking about it, but don't hesitate too long. Yeah. You cannot, there's never going to be perfect timing. Nothing will ever be completely perfect. But you need to take decisions faster and not listen to that inner voice that tells you, oh, let's just wait a little bit longer and see what happens. Yeah, that's always, let's see what happens. Well, what's happening is going to be all your opportunities going to disappear. So don't wait for better weather or someone or something to happen. You need to make it happen yourself. And then you will see that you're just correct in what you're doing. Yeah, the time is just right for you. All right. And you will have, as a consequence, more opportunities. Now, then we've got the heavenly destructor. So if you have the destructor with the death door, you kind of focus too much on the details. Yeah. So that inner voice always tells you about, no, let's just focus on the little details. Let's make sure that all the little bits and pieces are in place, but you fail to see the bigger picture in the process. And that is actually holding you back. You only look at what's directly in front of you, that like the small problem that then grows into a bigger one, even though it's just a very tiny issue that you may have to deal with. And so you kind of forget that there are bigger goals, that there are bigger issues at hand, that there's a bigger picture. Is it actually important to deal with this small detail in the big picture? And so if you listen to this voice in your head that constantly tells you to just focus on the small details rather than seeing the big picture, again, you are going to be ignoring, or you are just going to be blind to bigger opportunities that may be coming your way. And so you may not even notice that something better came your way. So stop that self-talk. Obviously, you know, if you're signing a contract, you want to look at all the small details, but you know, not everything in life is just all about the minutia. Sometimes just have a look at the bigger picture. And then lastly, we've got the ambassador star. And for the ambassador star, you are kind of you have too high expectations for yourself. It's kind of like you're setting the bar too high for yourself, and therefore you may never really be able to reach the goal. Yeah, so um, very simply put, instead of telling yourself, okay, well, by the end of this year, I'm going to make 1 million, when right now you're not even going to make, you're not even making $100 a month. That is, the bar is a little bit too high. So make it realistic so it's actually achievable. Because if you set the bar too high and you can't then reach that goal, you feel like you let yourself down. You feel like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I can never do anything right. And that's not because you're not good enough. It's because you just set your expectations way too high. Yeah. Before you go to the moon, maybe first learn to walk. So smaller steps and you will actually get there. And then you will not have that feeling of failure. In fact, it will be the reverse. You will feel a feeling of accomplishment because all those small goals that you've set for yourself, you're actually able to achieve. So this is very, very important. All right. So I hope this helps you guys a little bit in reframing that negative self-talk if and when it happens. Obviously, it's not a 24-hour kind of thing, hopefully, but whenever you catch yourself in negative self-talk, then maybe this will help you reframe it and rephrase it. All right. So if you do have any questions, as always, any comments, please put them in the comment section below or contact me directly. My email address is in the description to the video. And you'd really help me out if you subscribe to my channel, if you shared my video with your friends, and if you gave me a thumbs up. All right, see you guys soon.